I just wanted to hang on for a minute. I ain't want to be in here for too long, be on this live for too long. But for the past couple of days, I keep hearing the word processing, processing. So, processing can mean a lot of things when you over on my page. You going through the process of something. Over what I do is I do gardening and everything. Within gardening, there is processing. There's a process that you go through before you can reap the benefits of what gardening does for you. But then we can take that and apply it to a whole bunch of different things. Um, Process is a part of life. So let's say, for instance, say, because I know this is something that probably a lot of people can understand a lot, is let's say you in a relationship with somebody. There's a process that you go through in that relationship with somebody, which is you meet them, you have conversations with them, you spend time with them, you do a whole lot of things with said person who you in a relationship with. Sometimes those relationships work out good. Sometimes those relationships work out real bad. It's still a part of a process. Okay, in the case of the process may go very wrong, there's probably a lot of family members, a lot of friends, relatives, whatever, point blank, period. There's probably a lot of them that says to you, you should leave that person alone. You shouldn't be with that person. You shouldn't be with that person. Well, what I want to say to you is process does not work that way. Even though I know in my deepest place in my body that the family wants you out of the situation because they recognize that it's not a good thing for you. But also when your family talking to you like that, and in some cases, yes, they are. They are wanting to you to leave them instantly, end it just like that, like with no ties or anything like that. But for the most part, most of them know that there is a process before you can end something that you done put time in, especially if you've been in this relationship 4, 5, 6 years and all of that type stuff like that. You cannot just come along and say, you need to get out of that relationship with them. Well, I'm not talking to the person that's telling you to end the relationship. They could have all different kinds of motives, but this is what I'm going to say to the person that's on the receiving end of you should leave him alone or you shouldn't be with him or whatever. I want you to understand that that is easier said than it is done, but it is doable, especially when you know that family member that is telling you you need to leave X, Y, and Z, you need to not do X, Y, and Z, whatever. If you've soul searched it yourself and you know in your heart of heart that this person is telling the truth, there is a process that you must go through to be able to end it, even when you know it's the thing that you're supposed to do. So, the same way you went through the process to build a relationship with boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, there's a process to end it. There is not a situation in your life that you can walk up like a light switch and just flick that situation on or off. There is a process. And what I'm here today is to encourage you. Don't be afraid to go through the process. The process may not look like what the person that's telling you to end it may think it should look like. The process has to go the way it was designed for you to go through the process, because if you don't go through the process the way it was designed for you to go through and not everybody else, if you don't go through it in that way, you're not going to get out of it what you need out of the process. So there's a way to go. And I promise you, if you end that process with this person over here and you haven't gotten what you needed out of that process, trust me, there's going to be another person that come along and will put you in that same process that you already went through. So what's in front of you, go through your process with that. Another part of process could be through the situations that you've lived through, which is I've lived through some traumatic situations. What told me to shut up, be quiet, don't say anything, just deal with whatever it is that happened your way. So when you grow up in that way, you grow up in a way of you're used to not being able to speak up for yourself, not talking or not telling when somebody's done something wrong to you, you learn how to be quiet. So if you go through a process like that growing up, 9 times out of 10 in your adult life, unless you went through a process that's taught you how not to sit there and be quiet when somebody's doing you wrong, there are certain situations you come to in your life and you clammed up on the inside, afraid to say anything because, yeah, you don't want to lose this situation, but you're tired of going through what it is that you're going through. So I'm just going to give like a few examples. Like some people think every situation that you have to go, you have to speak up for yourself. Speaking up for yourself when you come from a place where I come from is also a process. You don't just jump up one day and start telling people how you feel to the utmost about something, a situation that they did to you. Um, it's not that easy, especially when you come from where I come from. So sometimes those situations are, only thing is being required of you is to recognize that, yeah, I do have an issue with what you are doing to me. Sometimes that issue don't come along with you opening your mouth and saying anything to anybody. Sometimes because I recognize that in my life certain situations was happening to me, but I would show up to the situation like this. Well, if you showing up to a situation like that with your face smiling about everything that's going on, but on the inside you like this. You angry on the inside, but your outside is showing the person that's standing in front of you. Oh, she all right with what I'm doing. That's one of the main things you're going to have to change. You can't be mad at somebody, but you standing in front of them showing them a happy face. And sometimes that come from a nervous tick. That's what you learn how to do, which is the way that I used to show up, smiling about everything until I start saying to myself. So I'm here to encourage somebody today. If you're going through a process, which usually all of us are going through a process, we either going through a process, ending a process, or we getting ready to step into a process. And if you done processing, that means you are no longer with us anymore. And you can take that however you want to take it. Okay. So um what I first had to realize is that, Shauna, you standing here and you're not happy about what this person is saying in front of you or what this person is doing to you, but you standing there with a smile on your face. The first thing is you have to recognize that that's something that you do. You smile in situations where you're not comfortable. You smile in situations where you're not happy. You smile in certain situations to make another person comfortable while you're uncomfortable. Well, the first thing you have to do is recognize that you do that. Once you recognize that you do that, the second thing you have to do is learn how to not do that. It doesn't mean you have to show the angry face. Make your face be relaxed. When that person over there that 9 times out of 10, they know they doing you wrong. Don't give them a smiley face that says I'm happy in what I'm doing. Give them a straight face. Just look at them. Don't give a smile. And basically, what I'm saying is if you feel some way on the inside, make your face match what you feeling. Don't stand in front of somebody knowing you're hurt and you're crushed, because that is not going to get you anywhere. Hey, Shalissa, how you doing? Hi, run this place. That is not going to get you where you are. That's only helping you to stay in the place that you in. So you have to make your face match what you feel on the inside. Now, I do have another part of this, and usually I don't encourage people who are not in a marriage or whatever like this. But this is to I'm just gonna say it, and when you're in a situation, let's just say, because you have to skirt around some of these words or whatever, because YouTube them will get you in a heartbeat or whatever. You can't talk about real things like you want to on here. So basically what I'll say, let's say that you're in a relationship, and usually people they can hear you when you're talking about a relationship situation. So let's just say you with your guy friend and your guy friend keep on doing things that you don't like for him to do. Well, let's talk about it in the clean version. When you get home and know that a situation has not been taken care of, but you there again with your big smile on your face, pretending like everything is okay. You cooked your big old dinner, you served dinner up, and everything is good. You probably ran some bath water, you probably ironed some clothes, you probably did all of that. And I ain't saying anything wrong with that. Is that's where you are. Be in that place. I'm talking about starting the process of getting through what it is that you're going through. Okay, so you probably done all of that. And maybe your partner's love language is not all of this extra stuff he doing, but his love language may be in the bedroom and you've tried to communicate with him in every other way. Well, there are some situations that happen in a bedroom. if you if this person is causing you heartache and pain, what is that part that's in you that still wants to bring pleasure to them in that way? I ain't saying to you because it ain't easy for all of us. We all don't come cut from the same cloth to deny said person what it to deny them those actions that happens in the bedroom. Everybody ain't strong enough to do that. I know a lot of people on here pretend like it ain't easy, but I'm telling you, I'm speaking from my experience. When you've come from a place where you feel like you've been built to satisfy everybody else in those areas or whatever, you have to figure it out and figure out what works best for you. So I'm saying when you go into that room, and I'm saying not deny um the enjoyment of what happens in the bedroom. We're gonna keep on talking about it in that way. But there is some things that you can still do all of those things, but you have to start to subtract yourself from the place, which means I'm here, but I ain't really participating in what it is that we got going on here. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about beginners because I can feel like somebody may come through and see this and say, girl, what is you talking about? I ain't talking about you ones who know how to do everything. You got it all figured out and everything. I'm talking about the ones who are beginning and trying to get through a process that they ain't never been through before. And I'm telling you, if you ain't never walked through a process before and you don't know what you're doing, it ain't going to be easy. You ain't going to know how to figure it out all the way. But there are some things you have to make your body match with what you feeling. Some of us women, we want to lay down with him and we still want to grip and grab on him and make him feel the best of the best. That might be his love language. He might feel like you loving on him, giving him everything in the world. But what happens when you allow yourself to relax and just lay there and said person can't get from you the same thing he always gets from you because now I'm not feeling my best. See, there's this thing where if you're constantly giving, 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 and nothing is being poured back into you, eventually you will come up with an insufficient fund. Every single time you're going to run out because you're giving away too much. So I hope I'm making sense to somebody, but if you are a beginner and you're trying to figure out how do I get past this next stage, don't listen to those people that's hollering and screaming for you to get out of this situation immediately or whatever. Life just does not work that way. There is a process to everything that you do. Just like I said, I'm a gardener. When I go out in my garden, I don't expect to walk out there and see plants put down. The first thing I got to do is I got to get me some seeds from somewhere. Where I'm going to get the seeds from. The next thing I got to do is I got to germinate those seeds. I gotta plant them. I gotta do something. But I ain't gonna just walk out there and see no plants growing or no nothing. And the work that you do will be the harvest that you're gonna reap. I'm not telling you that it's going to be comfortable while you're going along on this process, because most processes are not comfortable. I'm not telling you you're going to be comfortable as you go through it. Even as being a gardener, I'm just comparing gardening to it because I do a lot of it. There's days you go out there and you working in that sun beating down on you like I don't know what. Some days gonna be uncomfortable, but you going out there to take care of what you taking care of so you can reap a very great harvest. So in the same way, in these relationships and these processes, you go through those situations little bit by little bit. And yes, the people that's screaming these words to you, they mean well. They want you out of it because they know that it hurts you, is bothering them, or whatever. You still have to go through your process in the way that you go through it. Yes, I understand exactly what you mean, sis. You on here giving us knowledge and life lessons as usual. Thank you. You're welcome, Rhonda. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, your situations are not going to be comfortable, but I'm here to tell you, I'm not going to be one of those people that say, "Girl, you so stupid for going through." Because let me tell you something. If I can say that to you, I would have to go back and say the same thing to my own self. I'm very thankful of the processes that I have been through and able to talk to somebody else through their process, because I know what it feels like to be the one down to the bottom and trying to figure out, how to navigate through this life, how to go through process. And I still ain't figured it all out. But there's one thing I'm willing to do, is stand up to the process. And when somebody tells me something, I no longer just want to take it and throw it out. I want to hear what it is that you say, and then I want to search myself to first find out, is that true? Do I really do that? And some of the things that people tell you that you do, if you search the inside of yourself and you can't find those things that those people saying that you really doing, then that's the kind of stuff that you take and throw it in the garbage can, because we got enough people that lie to us point blank, period. Anyway, so you throw that stuff in the garbage. But the things that it hit you and it touch you, those things, more than likely it's something about those things that you can grab and pick up from it, and you say, okay, let me try and work on this, because it is something that I usually do and I can do something about it. Other than that, go through your process. Everybody process is different. And shout out to the ones who able to, when you in a situation and the situation ain't no good for you, you can just pack up and haul tail. Kudos to you. But then when you go to wherever those places go and you don't feel nothing, you don't feel like, oh God, I miss that person. You don't put 5 and 6, 7 years into a situation, you able to just walk away like that. But you got some people willing to tell you how to go through your process or whatever, but they ain't gonna tell you no part of how they went through their process. They just want you to shut your thing down like it is. No. And if you want to be a person that helps somebody through their process, one of the things you have to do is you have to be willing to be a listening ear, and then you have to be able to give them a little bit of what they given, and not necessarily trying to tell them every single thing that they got to do, and no, you can't do this and you can't do that and all of that kind of stuff. No, you kind of have to let a person go through their own process themselves. And I'm not even telling you that that's the easiest thing. I don't watch my sister and I don't watch family members go through things, especially when I have gone through them myself, to turn around and watch a sister or a family member or a brother, a son, a child, a daughter go through any of those things. It is absolutely frustrating. It is frustrating. But you have to drop the knowledge that take you some deep breaths and understand who, how did I go through this process? And once you can go back to the ground where you understand, this is how I went through this process when I was going through it. So let me give them a little grace on let me give them a little bit of grace while they going through the process that they're going through. And I'm learning this stuff all as I go. And because like sometimes I'm talking to people and I can almost hear what they're going to say before they say it. So there's this times like when my family be talking to me or something, and one of my sisters and them will say, I can hear them in the back of their mind saying, I'm so sick of this bitch. I'm so she always trying to tell somebody, I don't want to hear this shit. I can hear them saying that in the back of their mind, and I'm just giving you the truth. Hey, Corinne. Hey, boo, how you doing? Um, um, I can hear them say that in the back of their mind. I don't get offended by it. I actually laugh at my sister and them, but I actually tell them, I can hear you saying that in the back of your mind, even though you ain't letting it come out of your mouth. I understand that. We all go through those points of when you out there living life and you doing things the way you do, and then a family member or somebody show up to tell you, you need to stop doing that. Or you need to better your life, or you need to do something different. Yeah, there's a point when you don't want to hear it, but at what point you gonna get to when you do want to hear it? I'm not saying the person that's coming to you and that's saying it to you is wrong, and I'm not saying you wrong in the reaction that you is, because when you get ready to do it is when you get ready to go through your process, you gonna go through it whether you want to or not. And you can choose to have those family members there that's going to support you, or you can be out there on that limb all by yourself. But I'm pretty sure it's better for you to be able to talk to some of those people and be able to deal with them. Um, Being able to talk to those people and make them your shoulder that you can be able to cry on, and talk through some of those situations. So hey, Patrice. I don't know why Patrice why your thing is I don't know why wait a minute, Patrice. I gotta make sure you the right person, because who you can't stand, Patrice. But I didn't come on to stay on no whole a whole long time, but um I'm around a lot of situations where people are going through a lot of processes. I'm going through processes my own self. I know I had a live the other day, and a lot of people did not want me to do that live, but also you have to know there's things, and I always talk about growing, growing, growing. Um, I think it is her, Shalissa, but I don't know why she ain't blue. That's my only thing, because she should be in blue. So something ain't right. I don't know. um, there's a lot of people that's going through process around me. And I don't think that they know. Patrice, send them, if that's you, then send a message, send me a text message, because that's the only way I'm tapping on it, because I don't understand why you're not where you supposed to be. I said send me a text message. I ain't say put it on here. I can anybody can say that you on here. I need to know. You guys send me a text message, tell me that's you. Um, but a lot of people are going through process around me, and it's not the easiest thing to see. And I know a lot of them get tired of me opening my mouth. They even hate that I be praying for them. And I'm not offended because they don't like that I pray for them, because I know sometimes prayers, even that people give, like this one right here, I'm going to say, everybody under the sound of my voice, you ain't going to never be able to erase it again. One of the things that I always say is to anybody who I come in contact with them, I always tell them, anytime you meet somebody, say over that person when you first meet them, Lord, if they ain't for me, move them out of my life. You'll get so scared about the part of move them out of my life, when you will forget about the part where I just said, Lord, if you forget the if part, because the opposite of moving them out of your life means that if they for you, they ain't going nowhere. When you want to know 2 or 3 months in that a person ain't for you, for they can go on about their business, for the one that's supposed to be there, to be there, I don't know. So I just kind of got to to a place of where I said that, and here I am 20 some odd years later. Um I'm still with the person that I had been praying that prayer over him even after we got married. I even said it that, one or two times, just to be funny or whatever, but um whatever it is, go through your process and know your process does not mean hit the light switch and turn it off. It doesn't work that way. It's never going to work that way. And you will stress yourself out more trying to do it exactly the way a person telling you to do. They want you to just flick that light switch off. No, it doesn't work like that. So I'm here to encourage you, go through your process. There's process behind every situation that you do. Go through your process and be willing to talk about it. And those that don't want to talk about it with you, skirt around those people and go to ones that you can talk to about your process and make it all make sense to yourself. So I didn't come on to no, I really say I don't know why it's showing me you like that, because I didn't okay. So I got it right then, child. But yeah, that wasn't right. But anyways, I didn't come on long to stay long, y'all. I just wanted to come on. And oh, what I was gonna say is like I did a live the other day with somebody that had been going around slandering my name, calling me all kinds of names on several different platforms or whatever. And you know, I didn't have that sit down because I just trusted this person or whatever. I'm going through a process in my life too, where I'm learning to have conversations with people without going from here to here, because now I know how to. I started out where I was scared to talk to people. I wouldn't tell people how I felt about certain situations. I hid my feelings. I protected people who I shouldn't have been protecting when they weren't trying to protect me, or no, none of that stuff like that. So now I'm in a place where I do speak up for myself, but I also get into places where I can go from 0 to 10 in no time. So I want to work on that part, which is I'm always talking about growing, growing, growing. So I wanted to know inside of me, and the B word, somebody calling me the B word, and I probably shouldn't be telling y'all that, but then I'm getting more and more desensitized. And if anybody want to come at me and call me those kinds of things just to aggravate the situation, then so be it. Do your big one. But I bought her on the show because if I knew I could have a conversation with her and just stay grounded and don't have to go nuts and everything talking to that person, then I know that I'm doing the work for myself to be able to grow. Because I don't like having big arguments with nobody, but I tend to, when I go to a place when somebody telling me that I'm a liar and I know that I'm telling the truth, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to back down off it. It makes me angry when I know what the truth is and a person is in my face trying to tell me that I'm telling a lie. So I knew that it would be a challenge for me to have that conversation with that lady. And I still want to be respectful to her because I can't imagine being Denise in the situation that she going through. Um, I can't even imagine going through what it is that she going through. So I don't want to disrespect her in no way. But she is somebody who has disrespected me on so many levels in so many ways. But for me, that conversation with her represented growth for me. Everybody else may not have seen it the way that I seen it, but I know what it meant for me. And you do know when you're trying to grow and go through a process, there's certain things don't that gonna be thrown your way, because if you're not tested in that area, then how you know you better? How are you going to know that you've gotten better in that area if a test does not come along within your process to show you? So just understand that those certain things going to come up. Go through your process the way that you go through them, and make sure it's making sense the way that you're going through it. Ask yourself, is the way that I'm going through this process going to help me get to where I'm going, or is it going to make me be regress back to where I was, to square one? If it's going to help you catapult forward, then keep doing what you're doing. But if it got you focused on going backwards in your rearview mirror, then honey, you're doing the wrong thing. But I'm here to encourage you. Don't have that light switch thought that you can just turn a situation off and on like that. And anybody who's telling you to just do it like that, no, it doesn't work. But even the Bible say a just man falleth 7 times. Honey child, I done fell down and skint these knees up 550 times with the situations that I done been through in my life. But it got me to where I am right now and able to speak on those things, go through those things, whatever. Don't let nobody tell you that process is just, girl, go ahead and do it. Nope. I done been through situations. Well, my boss was talking crazy to me one time, which is why I don't like bosses no more. I like to be my own boss. But there is situations where my boss got she had the whole store intimidated. And I could realize that she got this whole store intimidated. But by the time she came to me, honey, I couldn't even let her stay on those same old grounds. I was ready to go head to head with her. And it was like, she said, do I intimidate you? I say, not at all. At one point you did. I thought you did, because everybody else was saying that you was mean and everything. But honey, I'm well over this. Even at one point, I to my boss lady, we sitting in the office, honey, we standing right there, and I'm finna call the labor board right on her, in her face. This how much you intimidate me, girl. I'm finna call these folks on you right here in front of your face. And what you gonna do? No, while I was dialing those phone numbers, she was there begging me not to call them. No, you don't tell me what to do, especially if you threatening me about going to take care of one of my children who need to go to the emergency room, and none of y'all answered y'all phone because you knew you didn't want to come into and run this store. So if it come down to that, if I gotta shut down a whole store to go and take care of mine's on, that's what gonna happen, baby. We gonna shut down the whole operation. I don't care if y'all don't make one dime. But when mine got to go to the emergency room, baby, I'm shutting it down. Clean, dirty, whatever you want to call it. And we'll take care of the rest of that later. But yes, my boss was threatening me. And this was some years ago, because I ain't worked for nobody in a very long time. I've been my boss for a very long, long time now. But there was a process that I went through before I got to that. And God will put people in your way to help you through those processes, whether you see them good or bad, snakes, lizards, bugs, whatever you want to call them. I always talk about the things that run me out of the garden and stuff sometimes. So I'm just here to say, be willing to go through your process. The people that are there that's telling you, girl, you need to just leave that alone, or you need to do X, Y, and Z. Listen to what they say, but don't take it so literal. They're there to push you to get to the next part of your process, and that's it. Don't think you got to click the light switch on or off and just go away. Life does not work like that. Be willing to go through your process. And when you go through your process, before you know it, you'll be helping somebody else go through their process. But go through your process. Don't just go there and try to flick the light switch on and off, because that's only going to make you think you crazy, because you can't just turn it off like that. It don't work like that. Now, how many of y'all done been in situations where people want y'all to just turn it off, and it don't never work that way? I don't think it's none of us that can just say we went and turned something off. There's a situation I'm going through with one of my kids right now. Somebody wants you to turn it off. You can't just cut your kids off in those ways. At least I can't. I have a relationship. I done built relationships with my kids over 30 years, and there's gonna be some things that I don't like that they do or whatever. It's gonna be known that I don't do it, but I want to go to the extreme. I want to be the one that says I can put them out on the side of the street, but process just does not work out like that. But the more and more I tell myself that I can go through this process, the stronger and stronger I'm gonna get. And before you know it, that fire that I said I was gonna light up under your ass is gonna be lit. And you gonna know I meant every word that I say. So I'm here to tell you, go through your process, because after a while that fire gonna be lit and you gonna take off, baby. And don't be so literal about what the person's saying to you. They're there to encourage you to go through and get through your process. So those are my words for tonight, and hopefully I said something that's gonna help somebody that get through their process tonight. And if not, share it with somebody who need to get and go through their process. Um, this is Life with Tashana over here. Over here, where we grow food, we call the high class gardeners over here, which means we just grow some food. We ain't fancy with it, no none of that. But the high class means we don't play around with snakes, bugs, lizards, and we don't spray none of that funny stuff on our food. But we make sure we growing over here. And growing means we growing food in the garden. Growing also means we growing in life. Those flowers are the representation. The food that we're growing is the representation of our real life, where we should be growing, 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 growing on a continuous basis. Um, so, and I also encourage you, if you ain't growing nothing but a sweet potato in your yard that you got from the grocery store, go to the grocery store and get you a sweet potato. Find you a dirt spot, dig it up, and put that potato in the ground and let it grow, because shortages are going to come very, very soon. And you all going to be surprised when these shortages come again. Grow you some food. You can walk into a grocery store, and have you ever walked in one before and you try to swipe your card and they telling you they only accepting cash at the moment? Just be mindful that those situations going to come up again. And I don't care if you got a garden in your windowsill, grow you some food, and let that growing of the food be a representation of what your life is. And for anybody, and this your first time coming over here to see me, if you want to know who Shauna's really about over here, because even though my name is Tashana, they call me Shauna. You want to know about who I am, go back and look at my shorts of when I first came on here, and you will know that all of the different things that I've been through in my life, and I don't mind sharing with people and having conversations, even conversations that don't even match with what I wrote about. But I don't know what else I need to say, and maybe I'm done with saying everything I need to say. But shout out to my moderators. Thank you for being here. And let me see what else I got here in the chat. LO, I can imagine you in this store going in on your boss. Yeah, she was trying to chastise me for closing down the store. But my son was having an allergic reaction and his eyes were bulging out of his head. So it put me in a position that, and I called all the other managers. And of course, when they get in the phone call 10 o'clock at nighttime, because you want them to come in and run the store for the rest of the night until so I can take my baby to the hospital. Ain't now one of those managers answer the phone call. So I made a manager's decision and I closed the whole store down and told all of my employees, hey, you can, child, we going home. I ain't got time to be trying to study this. My baby eyes popping out of his head. He was having an allergic reaction from seafood, and my mom had him. So no, it was time for me to go. And so the first thing when she saw me, her reaction to me was if I ever do anything like that again, she'll have my job. And basically, what I told her, if you bad, then go ahead and take my job right now. But while she was making that threat, I was on the phone calling somebody who used to work at the labor board back in Vero Beach, Florida, named Olin Bagley. I was dialing them numbers on that phone, and when Mr. Bagley answered that phone, I was telling him what really was happening there in that store. And he was like, oh, she gonna change her mind. She gonna change her mind. And she changed her mind. So, that was a part of it, but it was the first time that I ever had to stand up to somebody in that way. I have I have many times in these 47 years, and I've never been able to cut the light switch off. I know that's right, Rhonda. We real peoples over here. Ain't you? Life just does not work that way. And by the way, me and you the same age, so it ain't never happening. It ain't never happened to me in my life where I've been able to turn it off like that right there, unless you ain't really like the person in the first place. So it's easier to turn it off like that when you don't really like the person in those ways. But you know, most situations, somebody begging you to leave a person alone, it ain't none of those type of situations. Thanks, Shauna. I just bought a house and got a big backyard and about to, hey, nah, hey, girl, I get excited when somebody say they got a big backyard. You don't need no whole bunch of grass and a whole bunch of trees and stuff that don't do nothing. Honey, put you some. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, like Yo Thoughts said the other day. Yo Thoughts is another content creator. She's also one of my moderators. When you don't know what you're doing, honey, it don't take no whole bunch. Get you a pack of seeds and go out there and throw them on the ground. I bet you see that stuff grow. Throw some water on it, and you're gonna get some growth somewhere around that. And as you start to see that growth, you will grow along with it, honey. I started my garden in these little bins that I got from the Dollar Tree, just right in the front yard. And once I start seeing all of that stuff growing and everything, I got right back into it. This the second time that I've had a huge garden like I have right now. But I thought I had left it alone forever, moved on to another property and started all over again. And the next thing I know, my husband was like, you got to take that stuff to the back. And it started growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And that, who does not want that to be a representation of their life? So we don't know what to do. Thought I needed all these planters. Nope, 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 nope. You don't need to. There's a couple, I got more than a couple of videos on here. And there's so many other people that will encourage you to do the thing. Run, ain't nothing like having that piece of land back there and growing your own food on it. It tastes way better than anything you can get from the store. Okay, thank you, because we don't know what to do, but I seen your shorts showing everything you got out your garden to feed your family. Yes, and what I'm talking about, going back in the videos for you to see when I first came on here, the things that I came on with, to let people know that going through your process, it looks all different kinds of ways. When I came here, a lot of my videos, that when I really got serious, when I started getting serious about YouTube, a lot of them were about things that made me really sad, things I hadn't talked about that happened in my childhood and stuff like that. Um, to really let you know that I've been through some things, and to be where I am right now. I'm not where I want to be, and but I sure ain't where I used to be. And that's for sure. So again, I just wanted to encourage somebody, go through your process. Don't give it the light switch effect, because it don't work. But be willing to go through your process and to learn from your process. And you will be forever thankful if you just go through your process. Your prayers, and whoever else is involved in your process, go through your process, listen to the people who saying it to you, and take their words as encouragement. You will be able to end it. You will be able to win in this situation, because Shauna said, you gonna grow. You gonna grow. You gonna grow in life. You gonna grow through this situation. This situation gonna be done and over with. And like I said, it'll be you the next time encouraging somebody else how to get through their situation. So I ain't come on here to stay all night long, because I know a 30-minute, something supposed to be in 30 minutes. I'll be on here for 2 or 3 hours. And so I ain't even trying to do that. I just wanted to come on and do a quick live, because I know when something is ringing in my ear talking about the process has been going on for 3 days now, and I haven't said nothing. I came on here twice yesterday and didn't say nothing about it. So let me pour it out of me today, and then moving right along. So hopefully somebody got that word for themselves for today. Go through your process, not the light switch process, the real process. Okay. This has been Life with Tashana. I appreciate y'all for coming through, spending your time with me, because you could have been anywhere you wanted to, but you decided to be over here with us. Thank you. Over here where we are the high class gardeners. Grow something. Grow something. Y'all have a good night. See y'all tomorrow sometime.